And hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Trenches, Frontline Prediction League in the Trenches, the FPL. We are here, Scott and BeerMeJesus, to cover the last pay-per-view we did, Hell in a Cell, and look towards the future. BeerMe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, especially after our win. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. That was a tense night watching that show and knowing how close things were, even points-wise,
Was
how close it was. For people who are stumbling on this for the first time, this is the Frontline Prediction League, Frontline League on Twitter. You can follow, subscribe, everything down below as well. Then go to our Discord and get the link to see the results as we'll have here. But Hell in a Cell, it was an interesting show. It was a main show, WWE. Our main shows are the WWE and NXT ones. Everything like AEW, Ring of Honor, Impact are house shows, and the next two are going to be house shows, as everybody knows, followed by Money in the Bank. So some news on that coming up. But first, let's dive into Hell in a Cell itself, which kind of rhymed close enough for a rap song anyway. But bear me, let's go. Here we are. We've got the Hell in a Cell winner, which was a qualifier match for a contendership match, which is leading to the world title match. Long story short, Payne at SummerSlam faces the winner of a match between Luke Gray, Lexi Briggs, and the winner of the Hell in a Cell, which was your guy Bastion. He won, defeating my girl Red, James Black, Broken Nerd, Rate Wrestle, and Sebastian Escobar. He had the highest score, 39. The remaining were 35, 31, 26, 21, and 13. Those scores might seem a little bit off. Hell in a Cell scores, you get double points for success and double negative for losses, or incorrect. Normally, you just get the points or don't. So the double either way makes it a bit crazy. So Bastion won. Red was close. Red actually ate the pinfall thanks to CT doing what he does. That's going to lead to some stuff down the line. But Bastion won. Bastion kind of did what he'd been trying to do for a while now, and finally got the job done and got his way into that match. He was in the Battle Royal. He was in another Battle Royal. And here he is now. So, how do you feel about Bastion winning this match?
ecstatic. Pretty excited. I'm glad that he won.
Do you?
It does pain me that Santos Escobar had the lowest score.
Yeah,
that does pain me. Or Sebastian Escobar. Sorry,
Sebastian.
Santos. Yeah. My bad.
It was a bit rough. We kind of knew he was out early. It seemed like Red would be, but then a match went differently than expected, and suddenly Red's got a shot. But yeah, it was Bastion's night. He took it home, and yeah, he could go on to win the world title. We'll have more on that as we go. But fun write up by CT. I don't single his out enough. He did this one. It was epic and insane, and the fact that kind of everybody got involved was a hell of a lot of fun as well, because there's so many factions like we talked about getting in there, and just insanity took place. So it was a lot of fun. What do you think about the write up?
I thought it was really good. I liked the whole everybody getting involved thing. I thought that was really well played and nice. And Bastion got a big spot, and he won. So that doesn't happen too often, but he pulled it out.
He did. What about the write-up overall, before we dive in deeper? I really liked it. I was really happy with it. There was a part I forgot to put in. It happens. We tweaked it.
It's all right.
But what do you think of it?
I really liked it. It was really good.
The tag
you just keep getting better and better. That's what I should say.
Appreciate that. Thank you. The CT and Red also do the write-ups. And speaking of Red did write this one. The FPL Continental Tag Team Championship. And yes, we're calling it Continental. Said that before. Just to make it a bit different, because there's the Canadian title. That's a history thing we've got. But the American title, because they didn't want to call it United States. There already is one of those. North American exists. But Intercontinental, what do? We were thinking to mix them, because it's a combination. The continent, right? So the America, Canada, continent can combine. Yeah, there's Mexico too, but you get what I'm saying. So it was a bit different. It was a way to do it. And it's green. We'll have better pictures of those title belts coming, I think, soon. We'll have our own title histories and stuff available at some point. But the actual title belt, I designed it, yes. So, Warden, shut up. It's got, like... it's got, like, almost like an interlocking grid. So it's, like, coming together. But also, I took... because I used 2K19 for the build of it. it's got the images of wrestling from title belt gold, but they're facing, so one's facing one way. So like at the far edges, there's two people, so it's like a tandem. I'm happy with it. I really like it. It's not my favorite of them. I still like the world title. I love that belt, and the Canadian's pretty badass, but the American's probably my favorite. The Stars and Stripes is pretty cool. But Warden, he laughed about it all he wanted. He didn't get the belt. It went to the Simple Creatures. I was proven wrong. I did pick DMI, Arbiter, and Kano Mac. It did go 52-48 in favor of the Creatures. They won the titles.
Do you want to explain why that bonus got thrown out? Because it's kind of what cost them that match, or why it was no or yes. Or
yes.
No, it was no. It was no for the involved.
Yeah, we were going to mention that one. Yeah. The part I was going to say before is something that CT realized. Going back to I think October 2019, Simple Creatures have been involved in every single tag title match that we've been a part of. Like, they're that good. They lost it and won it back. But there's not been a tag title match in the JRPL or FPL without the Creatures involved. And they won this one. They are what they are. Like, that's one of those, like, Walter's been champion for 600 days kind of things, right? So, but they could lose first time out. Every other champion has retained, even if it's by a draw or no contest. So what will happen with the Creatures? We're going to find out probably, I don't know, around the summer? There might be some sort of slam. Yeah. We'll see what happens there. So that's the likely scenario for them. But DMI, it was one bonus away. Quite literally. One team said yes, the other team said no. Depending how that was taken, it would have been 52-48 either way for either team. So that's where this got important. The bonus was specifically, will Reginald get physically involved during the Baszler Bliss match? What we've always considered physically involved is the competitors, so Bliss, Baszler, and the ref. If he got involved with them, yes, it's involved. He did not. So, what happened is Alexa Bliss, you look in her eyes, she possesses you, because that's a thing, and was possessing Nia Jax. And she raised her hand, and Nia raised her hand. And then Bliss did this, and so did Nia, and slapped Reginald. So Reginald got physically involved with Nia Jax. But it wasn't the opposite side, because we have before done it where people from other opposite opponent sides got involved. I'm misremembering the specifics, but I believe it was like Gulak got involved with Nakamura during the Zayn Bryan stuff. Something like that was the situation, and it was the 2 seconds they got involved. But then later on, the guys actually got involved, and it was irrefutable. This one was we debated it live on Discord, which you can go and join us when we're in there. We're like, what do we do with that? Because she slapped him, and the thing is, I looked at it and went, well, we've had it where there's been stuff before where it didn't get called because it's the two guys on the same side and they're laughing or high-fiving or whatever, and it's not called. Like my example was if Jey Uso and Paul Heyman were out there during Roman's match and they high-fived, or he's like, yeah, I get hype, we wouldn't have said that's physically involved because they're together. Doesn't matter if it was a slap. The slap is irrelevant. It was that physical contact between the same side was what it was, and didn't involve the actual competitors of the opposition. So we said that is not physical contact. Also, it was magic voodoo, and it was like I'm possessing you and you're doing it. Well, that's not me touching you, it's that person touching you. It can be through a proxy, but if I hit you with a stick, the stick hit you, but I hit you with the stick. But if I shove someone and then they bump into you, well, I didn't do it, they did. Like, we get it, though. We looked at it, we thought, do we throw this out? And there's 0 points. If we did, the outcome wouldn't have changed. It still would have been Creatures beating DMI. If we did count it the way it was, it's the way it was. The only outcome that would have been different is if we actually said, yes, that was physical contact. And we decided this in that moment well before the rest of it had been decided. So it's not like we decided, you're not going to win, we're picking this. We decided this is what it is. We did have our chat going. We were in the call. We made that call. It's like, look, Paul Heyman and Jey Uso high five wouldn't have counted. So Nia Jax slapping Reginald wouldn't have counted. It does not matter in that sense. Now, if during all that he got up there and bumped into her, yeah, he bumped into Alexa or the ref or Baszler, there it is, irrefutable. That happened. But the one funny bit we talked about was like in D&D, Dungeons and Dragons with alignment, when you use command or control someone, you actually turn them to be an ally of you and you're considered an ally. So then what it would have been is technically Naya was an ally of Alexa, therefore that was opposing sides. But no, that's not what this was. Even though it was, it's still Alexa, Shayna, and the ref did not get physically involved, and the only people out there were the seconds for Baszler. And that's it. So, yeah, it is something that we understand. We know the specifics of this, and really, I said this flat out, and we all are in agreement, that DMI is pretty much one win away from getting another shot. Flat out. Because it was that close, and it was that goofy of a bonus. And yes, we are going to be fixing the wording of that to make sure it says, like, the competitors or specific people. We are going to be making sure of that so there's no more interpretation. But we've been doing this for 2 years about now, and that's always been the way we've looked at it, or at least that's been the intent. If we've been proven wrong on that, and there was other times, that's not what the intent was, and that's what it is. So we've always intended it to be with the competitors themselves and the ref. So, or like I said, opposing sides, and they were only on the one side. And yeah. So that's the long version of that. But yeah, that was, you brought it up, Jeremy, right before I was going to get in there, because that was our plan to talk about that, to be like, yeah, we know. But like I said, we decided that well before it got to the point where it would have changed the outcome. Well before. So, I mean, look at your predictions. If you think she's going to do voodoo and you want to say if that counts, cool. Like, I know Warden, he does ask the questions. He's like, will this count? Like, if Alexa shot a fireball at Reginald, would that count? And I'm like, yeah. If it connected, that's physical contact. That's like, did she throw a kendo stick at him? Yeah, that it's a thrown weapon. That would have counted. That would have been physical involvement. But we didn't say that MVP got involved with the Drew McIntyre Bobby Lashley match because he like got our attention and was distracted. Physically not involved, and that's how we kind of looked at this one in the same way. So, but yeah, we're gonna word it better. We always want to work these things better, so it's not a case of like, oh, who entered War Games last? It's like, well, officially this person, but that one actually did. We're always trying to make these wordings as best we can. So, yeah, but there's never any spite. I wanted DMI to win, but I'm not going to say I must be this one to make sure they win because we did it before it was even going to be the thing. So, always in the interest of fairness, 100%. Absolutely. So, that's my rant on that, Beer Me.
No, you're good. You're good.
Speaking of things that didn't go the way as planned, if you're talking about DMI not getting the gold, CT didn't either. He lost to Rallentando 17-13 in the Watson rules. We actually did have a tie and had to go to the bonuses and worked our way through, and we got CT losing because I forget which one it was, but I think it was like not the match that went first, but it was something else as far as contact. I forgot which one it was, but Rallentando won it. Rallentando has the first actual defense by a proper victory with the FPL Canadian title. He has it, and yeah, we're kind of looking for contenders now because, again, one bonus. This is something we dealt with the JRPL for a fair bit, where the modus operandi for that for about 2.5 years was you lost, that's your shot back of the line. Which, fair, I that's the mentality, I had no problem with that. But when it's real close, you're not far off from getting a shot back, but that never really happened much. Again, not knocking it, that's not how I would do it. Well, now I am doing it. Now we are doing it with the FPL, and we look at like, man, that was so close. Let's run it back. And that's what happened with you and CT getting a contendership shot to go after Rallentando. That's what happened with McKennedy and the Ryder, leading to that rematch to declare champion, obviously, but then also with McKennedy and JD having their draw. We had to run that back again. Like, it's a defense, yeah, but you got to get another shot, like, when it's that close. The Canadian is a bit different. You got to beat the champ to do it, yes, but when it's so close, you're a win or two away from getting back in the saddle. That said, that's a month or two, to be fair. So it is stretching it a bit, but it's not the end of the road for CT. It is if he loses his match to Red, which has been officially announced. CT and Red at SummerSlam, and we'll talk more about that as we come in the coming weeks. But Rallentando, he kind of did what he did. Full disclosure, BeerMe, I think you're in line as well because you lost by a Watson rule point as well in your contendership match, so you're right back close to there. But it's kind of open to see who the next contender is for the Canadian champion, which is kind of fun. I kind of like that. It's as much as I wanted to see either of you guys win, not to knock Rallentando, I like you guys, and it'd be cool to see you get the title. I really like him having that belt and fending you guys off. I love that.
I want to crack at it.
Yeah, one-on-one.
Right?
Yeah.
Kind of eats at me a little bit.
I mean, the Canadian here with Canada Day coming up, and I'm not even in line.
I know, right?
That digs a bit. That's, well, someday. But he won. He retained. So onward and upward is all that can be done for that. CT did a great job. It's just, I mean, go listen to Top of the Card. That episode's coming out in a couple days. Charlotte Flair is not his favorite. And I'm not talking about BeerMe. And that match screwed him over. He basically, it's. If not for that, he would have had the points. And it wouldn't even have been the tie to the Watson. He would have had the win. So.
Why so many people put high on that match, I'll never know.
I don't know why I just said this. It didn't go to the Watson. He just lost outright. If I think it was Charlotte, it would have been the tie. Forgive me, I was going down. Because we knew what one it was going to be. He lost outright, is what it was. We thought it was going to be that, because there's no way Charlotte wasn't going to win by DQ, right? Like, So that's, forgive me, that's what it was. If not for that dumb finish of that match, it would have been a tie, and he would have won, I think, because he had a bonus right before Rallentando, but Rallentando had another one different, so it was a crapshoot going into it. So, I mean, Rallentando, good job. He got it. So, looking forward to seeing what's next for that. It's not me, I'll tell you that. But we'll see where that goes in short order. Speaking of titles, though, BeerMe, the world title, Bastion is going to face both of these two, Lexi Briggs and Luke Gray. They went one-on-one, and Lexi beat Luke. And 26-16. Not a great night for Luke, but Lexi got the win. Do you think either of them are going to be able to beat Bastion at Money in the Bank to advance to face Pain?
No.
No? You think?
But if Bastion does not win, I think Luke Gray's actually going to win it.
Do you think he's going to beat Pain if he gets there?
Yes.
First champion is Luke Gray? If those cards fall that way?
That's if Bastion does. It's no disrespect to Lexi. I just think Luke's kind of been on it. He was on a roll, now he's on a slide. Eventually, probability, your momentum's got to turn around. So
he's had it rough, too.
If he won that, it would. Yeah.
I mean, he had it really, really rough with everything that was going on.
But hey, I'm not counting out Lexi because Smiles and Shades as a team has been working, and singles they've been doing work. So
they are the ultimate dark horses in this, the two of them. Because Bastion, of course, man, it's Bastion. Come on, he's got this. But that is how Lexi and or Luke will win, because you'll overlook them, and that's how they got there in the first place. And yes, gonna see it right now. That triple threat. If they got two winners or it's a three-way no contest, all right, everyone goes to Pain. Like, it's whoever is the winner, quote unquote, of that match goes on to face Pain. It might be a triple threat, it might be a fatal four-way. Hopefully, it's one-on-one. But whoever makes it, makes it. And if that world title match ends up in a tie, we'll figure that one out. we'll figure out what to do with that. But speaking of crazy matches, this is one I know you were looking forward to. Hell in a Cell. Lucian Hollis versus Ash. Now, you might remember, BeerMe, when we talked about this, I was like, is that Hell in a Cell? I had to go check. As soon as that was done and the guys watched it, they're like, that should be Hell in a Cell. So we made it Hell in a Cell. So see, we have some power in that. We're like, that really should be, shouldn't it? And it was awesome, and it was close.
Got match of the night.
It was 29-27. Very, very high scoring. Again, Hell in a Cell. That means they had double points. So 29-27, both those guys, if they had stuff wrong, it wasn't impactful. 27 is one of the better scores you can get, and he still lost. We've both been there. That's rough.
Yeah.
But how happy are you that Lucian Hollis got that big win?
Very happy. I'm very happy. I can't wait to see what he does next. Hopefully, it
At,
does not involve me.
oh yeah, Ash is the guy that went to WrestleMania in the main event. He lost, and not for nothing, he still is a name and a big deal to face. Hollis getting that win, that's good. That's what we were looking for. I feel like Hollis is in that pain situation, like back in the fall when we were like, man, if he can string these together, it's onward and upward. And Hollis is doing it. He had some rough spots, but he's there in day out. So it's nothing but good for him. I'm really happy with that. Speaking of happy, me and you, Frontline. We didn't call ourselves that, but BeerMeJesus and Scott defeated Alexander McKennedy and Josh Dionio. It was a Tornado Tag Hardcore match, so that's positive points, and if you get them wrong, you don't just get 0, you get negative points. So we strategized a bit on that, and I think their picks were identical, so they definitely did too. But I don't want to say that hurt them, because ours didn't really deviate enough to hurt us, but we were cautious. We looked at the ones we weren't sure about, put low scores on them, so if we got them wrong, it's a small negative. Thank you, Rhea Ripley, 1-pointers, stuff like that. And we won. We've never teamed before, so that was fun. That was cool. And we got a win, so yeah. Character-wise, we hate each other, and so do they.
Sure.
So it was like a fatal four-way, except not. Like, there was teamwork happening in order to fight each other again. It was one of the more fun matches I've ever written. It was a hell of a lot of craziness.
It was good stuff.
So very happy with that. I needed that win. That's a couple for me in a row, and you're back on track as well. So, and it doesn't take anything away from McKennedy or JD. They're still like the guys in line for that. A hardcore tag match doesn't really affect our standings much. Like either of us in the tag ranks, not really. If we kept going, yeah, but it doesn't affect our singles either. But hey, it's a hardcore win for me. I haven't had one of those in a long time. And I mean, yeah it's those guys, but it's a tag match. It's a weird one, so. It's a main show, but it's still a bit weird as far as for actual stuff. But it wasn't a perfect night, though. I'm the only one that got the win because GMSG beat the Midnight Rider.
Dude.
I'm sad. As GMSG said, at least he didn't get hanged. So
yeah.
You were surprised by this one, were you?
Not really. No, I thought it would be close. I think it was kind of close.
It was 26-20. It was pretty close. Yep.
Yeah.
What was closer were the next couple, actually. Junction beat Detrick Cyrus 22-20. Big win for Junction. He hasn't had one of those in a bit. And Detrick, it's so close. Like, again, not a negative. One bonus, and he has it. So, right in there. It's a good match for both these guys. Kier 1 and Chef Urban, 22-17. This is Kier 1 kind of getting back on track. This is Chef Urban with a bit of a slide. Like I said, he's been consistent, but it's a problem. It's been at a lower spot. Not knocking him again, but he's always there. Like that's you got to be good to be there. So he is pulling these out, but Kier 1 took advantage of the situation and got that win. And we opened Hell in a Cell with Hell in a Cell. Well, I mean, kind of. RGX beat Orstella. And that was a nuts, crazy Hell in a Cell. I wrote that one. And
it was good.
He gave me the one spot, the Trio Woe hanging from the opening, the camera, like the climbing hole. And I'm like, I got an idea. Do you mind if I run it by you? He's like, no, don't tell me. I'll read it in the write-up. Okay. It was the missile drop kick off the turnbuckle to that.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, that was awesome. So, yeah. But he wanted to have it where he's like little upset. We got into him a little bit. And it stained his soul a bit that he had to go there. But he still did it. So, definitely, that's something that RGX has been looking for. I know we've both been so hyped for RGX for a long time. I love Orstella coming back. That was awesome too. But RGX getting that win, that was a feel good moment for all of us. Liking to see that happen, definitely. The rest we have CJ Hawk beating the Alpha Dog by a point, 27-26. Again, great scores for those guys. The Strays, Sheriff Dog and Michael Marsh with another win over OVS, Casey Ward and Roman Pierce. So while this faction, OVS, is doing all this faction warfare back and forth, the Strays have come along and just chalking up win after win after win. We've talked about that before. Very happy seeing these guys pulling this off. It's awesome and consistent. And Sheriff Dog always messages me and yourself after Frontlines, Trenches, and after the podcast. So it's great having him do that. It's awesome. We appreciate that. Speaking of crazy wins, Matt Zion and Rab beat Carlito and Wookie.
Don't look now. They're coming.
Like,
Uh,
I look at these two teams and I'm like, we gotta put them together, right? Now, again, some of these scores are like 25, 30, 29. Look at the score for that. 44 to 31. Not great scores. 31 as a combined score is not good. That's 5 points ahead of a single person. Like Cam got 26. That was an off night for those guys. That was rough. So, but speaking of off nights, Cam beat JJ Rocky, 26 to 18. JJ, our trench warfighter, has had some troubles, and this is gonna sound weird, but I'm happy for it because he came in so strong, like an Ultimate Warrior. He's getting some bumps in the road. And we're seeing what he's made of.
Rocky Road.
Right, I didn't even mean that. I legitimately didn't think of that. But it's good because he's hanging in there. He's sticking in. He knows where it's been. He's heard us talk about that a lot before, how you can have fun with the losses. When he starts to win again and go on that warpath, yeah. I'm excited for that. So it's all good. We can make the best out of a bad situation, JJ. Don't worry. But Cam with another win with a bit of a callback to something from the other place. That's really good to see, too, because there was the story there where Cam Popplestone, if he beat JJ Rocky, he'd get a title shot at the Road Warrior, and he didn't. He beat him! It's a different guy, though. But Cam beat JJ Rocky. It was pretty awesome to see that. So, very, very cool. The rest to round it out, we got Bane the Bishop beating Kurt Cult 21 to 16. Payne beating Skylar Cross 18 to 15. These are not good scores. LJ and James Costner went to a no contest, so that violence kept going, 18 to 18. As did Tino and Jason Blades, 23-23. The Gaffer and Wesley Shadow went 20 to 17. Smooth Rock beat Supreme Rock in a rock fight, 23 to 17. Mad Elite Titan and Bookend 5, 21-18. Angela Grace and Lynn to a no contest, 2020. Monkey Bong and Papa Smooch to no contest, 1919. And Ace High got a win, beating Blue Monkey G and 3J Platinum. 3J Platinum.
The return.
Hey, he's back. He has a score of 9. Well, he's back though, so it's good to see. I'm happy to see that. The more we can get back, the better. We still need Super Hippo. A couple of the guys we want to get back, but he's always my number one pick. I want to see back, but yeah. Sorry. Mystery Mask beat Macho Mendoza, which is a great graphic with Desperado and Pentagon, 21 to 13. So yeah. If you want to see the full details of this and read the kickoff show and the Hell in a Cell matches and Cure 1 and Chef Urban and Junction and Cyrus and the Rider and the attack stuff that was going on with that and our tag match, it's all in there. Please come check this out. We put a lot of work into this. We're very proud of it. We always are. And it's a lot of fun, and it's with your input. So, BeerMe, what did you think overall of FPL Hell in a Cell, LLLLL?
It was a great show. Great show.
You finished that quick. I was taking a drink for a second. I was hoping you go a little longer on that.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was a great show. I was hyped for it, and I'm hyped to see where it goes in the future.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I think the Hell in a Cell, amazingly, as much as we talk about on top of the card about how there's no agents working to make sure things aren't repeated across matches, we didn't really talk. Because I wrote the Hell in a Cell with RJX and Orstella. I know CT wrote the main event, the 6-man Hell in a Cell. And I truly do not know if it was CT or Red who wrote Hollis and Ash. I'm pretty sure it was CT. So I know he wouldn't have repeated spots in his. But I just did my own. And apparently we were on a good wavelength. We didn't have stuff repeat. But I'm of the opinion you can have stuff repeat and be a callback. It's like, he's doing a thing like in the other one. So we know what we're doing with that. We have a pretty good mindset for stuff like that. But now we do have Best in the World. Yeah, ROH, we're back with Best in the World on July 11th, which is actually a Sunday. Keep that in mind for Ring of Honor. It's probably going to be 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. because the kickoff show, I think, is at 8. So it's a late start for that one, but you got till Sunday, July 11th for your picks. It's a month out, so we got a ways to build up that card. In the interest of that, we'll talk about more what the next couple Frontlines are going to be, because we've got some openings to talk about other stuff, obviously, within all of that. But I do have a couple announcements here, BeerMe, for some specifics coming up. Not even Best in the World, but a bit of beyond, if you want some interesting notes.
Yeah.
Well, First off, we did confirm that the match between Red and Jonathan T.T. Martin will be happening at SummerSlam. If Red loses, Red will no longer be the GM. If CT loses, he cannot challenge for the Canadian Championship for a year. That is a callback to their WrestleMania match. I believe it was 2020, where it was Red. Now I forget what it even was that Red had, but no, it was for the actual Top Lock title. And if CT didn't win, he couldn't challenge for it anymore. And that's where we're at. It's a callback to that. So he's got me in line for best in the world, and we have a promo war going, which is fantastic. It's so much fun. But yeah, that match is happening. Obviously, the world title match will be Payne versus 1, 2, or 3 of the 3 that are going to be there. Bastion, Luke Gray, or Lexi Briggs. That's obviously there. I mentioned that the tag titles will probably be there. We're probably going to see other titles there as well. Let's get one of those actually official right now, BeerMe. What do you think? The American Championship will be defended at SummerSlam. It will be the FPL American Champion, Alexander McKennedy, once again defending against Josh Dionio. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, I'm down. I want to see it again. So, good.
We have an addition to make to that match. We are adding the winner of a Hell in a Cell match, RGX, to that match to make it a triple threat.
Oh. I am really into that.
The actual stipulation to be announced. So, will it be a Bayou Ballroom Brawl?
Yeah.
Will it be the... I'll be honest, I don't know yet. Legitimately, I don't know yet. RGX is learning this as we say this right now as he watches this, so there you go. And obviously people are going to go, what about Lucian Hollis? As the wins in there and the stories might not be in there, but he might be the contender afterwards, that kind of thing, could be that. So, yeah, we've got stuff. Don't worry if you're like, what about him? Don't worry, we know. But yeah, McKennedy versus Josh Dionio versus RGX for the American Championship at SummerSlam. That is official. That is announced. And I look forward to seeing their reactions to that. I like your reaction. You're like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I have one other announcement. It is for Money in the Bank. It is concerning Money in the Bank. We are not announcing any competitors yet, just so you know. But the way Money in the Bank is going to work, because technically, the Money in the Bank holder, there will be one. Actually, I'll say this. There will be one Money in the Bank briefcase. Because for all we know, we can get a goddamn tie and have co-holders. But there will be one case. As of July 18th, I think it is. But we don't have a World Championship till August 20th or 21st, right? For SummerSlam. So how's that going to work? Could you cash in before? No. How it's going to work is whoever wins Money in the Bank, that cash-in will be viable to be done the day after SummerSlam. That's when it goes live. So you've got August 22nd, 2022 as your deadline to cash it in. Because after all this work, we don't want to have someone cash in with an advantage into the SummerSlam main event and take it away from Payne, Luke, Lexi, or Bastion. Right? So,
makes sense.
Whoever is the Money in the Bank holder, you can be in the arena watching with your briefcase, knowing that whoever wins, they're going to get their night, they're going to get to celebrate with that title, and then they're going to have a target on their back the next day. Obviously, it won't be till All Out, which is September 5th or whatever, will be the first eligible show, but you know what I mean. It's that. So that's just a little something to make sure, because we wanted to make sure that it is only as of a point that you can do it. So Money in the Bank doesn't go to the next Money in the Bank, which could be interesting. We could have technically 2 Money in the Bank holders if they do it July again. And whoever wins doesn't cash in. That could actually happen. But we're going to give them the full year until it goes live at the SummerSlam. So, yeah.
Okay.
So, who do you think, not even knowing anybody involved in it, who do you think could win our inaugural Money in the Bank ladder match? Anybody in mind?
Man, I'm trying to think of people that have been on streaks. Uh, maybe Lucian Hollis. He just won.
Like it.
GMSG.
I was thinking to him, honestly.
Uh, so like a couple I'm thinking of. Maybe JJ Rocky if he wins some, but he's
Yeah.
kind of on a little bit of a skid. Man, yeah, that's tough. Yeah, those are three that are coming to mind. Since RGX in the title picture, I don't really want to pick him.
Yeah, safe to say anybody who is a champion or is imminently defending probably won't be in. But even then, like I can't say for certain that
You,
contenders won't.
I would say you too.
I'd love to. I did horrible in my Money in the Bank appearances before, so that'd be pretty cool. But
Hmm.
whoever is contending for a title, like I can't say for certain that JD or RGX isn't eligible for Money in the Bank. Probably not. Like if it's indisputable, yeah, okay, you get that shot because that's for the world title last year. They're gonna have a title shot in a month, and then who knows? So that really depends. That's still being decided. It's a probably not situation, but we'll see. Even the number like 6 or 8 mirroring WWE, that's 100% not confirmed yet, but it's going to be at least 6, I gotta think. So there's going to be opportunity there. And this isn't to add to the world title; it's to have Money in the Bank, as always. So that should be some fun.
One more, CJ Hawk.
I
Yeah,
like
throw him
that.
out there too.
I like how you know what
Yeah.
my brain is going to guys like CJ Hawk, Dedrick Cyrus, Chef Urban, guys
Yeah.
like that. Oh, James Black, yeah,
James Black. Yeah, that'd be cool.
guys like that. I'm thinking of those. But yeah, like I said, Hollis or JJ, like our favorites, right? Wrestle guys like that, I could see as well coming along.
I mean, I wish to be Sebastian Escobar, but
Oh my God, Escobar would be so good with that. Yeah,
yeah,
that would be all kinds of great. I think you're right. Imagine like CT, GMSG, like
yeah.
Red. I'd love that too. Like I'll throw those names out
Yeah.
there as well. Yeah, I mean you could obviously be in line for that. I think but
It's
winning
possible.
it is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Ladder matches are goofy, wonky things, and if you want to see more information on ladder matches and all the match types, check out in our Discord. The details are all over there. It's down like match types, character chat, all the fun stuff. You can see the promos CT and I are doing, the write-ups with some wild stuff. Rallentendo's doing his. Is it Sheriff Dog has got stuff in there? What's the ones that are really, really going crazy? Hawk, you mentioned, that's what made me think of it. His are wild too, so there's some really, really good stuff in there right now. And Warden, or Arbiter, excuse me. Jace calling me out again. Jace, come on. So
Another guy that would be cool with it because
Jace would be good.
underrated. Yeah, underrated.
I'd like to see a lot of these names, and that's a possibility there. And we are looking at that, and we look at it not just with the idea of people who were like, these are the best and deserve to be there. Yeah, that's where we started. But we look like, who could it be a good shot for to like get that extra bump ahead, like an actual Money in the Bank is. We are looking at it a bit like that too. So guys who have done really well, but maybe a little lower. That's
One
the
more,
perfect
maybe,
thing,
or
right? Who you got?
maybe or Stella, since he had Money in the Bank, it was never able to cash it in. Maybe
That's a
he
little.
could get in there somehow.
That is admittedly a little bit in my brain anyway, as kind of why it was like RGX and or Stella add the winner. That was kind of like, we'll see if we can mix it up because I'm pretty sure that we were looking at Hell in a Cell saying our next American title contender is going to come out of this show. Not from Money in the Bank, but from this one. And then was like, well, this seems like the guy. Why wait? Let's add him. Because, like I said,
Right.
to go back to what we started with, the idea of the draw with JD and McKennedy, we got to run that back. We're in the mindset of we want something definitive. We got to move on. That's not fair to McKennedy, kind of the coast by, but it's not fair to JD to not get another shot when he clearly had it. Or did he?
Exactly.
Like he won just as much as the champion. Well, let's do it again. Think of Apollo Crews in WWE. It's that kind of mentality right now. So we got to get something definitive. But RGX earned a shot. Well, now let's see what happens. And at least, thankfully, there's more possibility of something definitive with 3 people. All right, yeah, you CT, and Rallentando had a triple threat 3-way, but I digress.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to have a bit of time before that comes in, so we're going to be trickling out the matches as we go, like the American title contendership for SummerSlam. We've got all of Money in the Bank. Best in the World, Slammiversary, all those that come up. But that July 11th is the next one. So we've got a couple of weeks here, BeerMe, of just kind of us going, So, next week or the week after, depending which one we get the questions for. Give us questions at Frontline League or on Discord. Message Red, because Red's the one kind of curating this stuff. But you can message myself, BeerMe, CT, or GMSG. Message any of us, and we'll get those questions compiled for next week or the week after to talk about some question and answer. And see what we can do about, I don't know, not filling time, but you know what I mean. We don't really have much to talk about on Frontline next week, and we want to do these Q&As. They're awesome. So send us some questions, send us some information. Warden's going to send us probably another shameless plug. Do what you do. Get those promos in. We'll see what we can do with that for next time. But, BeerMe, I think I've rambled as usual. Do you have anything else you want to say about the upcoming shows or to anybody in particular?
No, not really. Just James Costner. Got my eye on you. But other than that, well, everybody get your picks in, and good luck.
Get your picks in, yeah. Well, Costner's been in the character chat. Again, this is out of character stuff here. So it won't be CT and I going at it here on Trenches, but I got an idea. But in the character stuff, go in character chat. Go do your promos in there. Come on, Super Hippo. If we're seeing this, come on back in. Come on. Let's get everybody in here. Let's have some fun with this stuff. Let's go crazy. Best in the World, Slammiversary. These are the shows to make your own kind of matches, and we can do stuff that doesn't get in the way of booking and actually helps it and increases it, and you never know. So get those ideas into this as well. Get those questions in as well. Frontline League on Twitter. I think I'll end it there, BeerMe. So thanks again for BeerMeJesus. This is Scott. Have a good night.